Shooting from the Lip features views and opinions from smart, funny, serious, and not so serious people. This show is intended for a mature and not so mature audience. Enjoy the show!
What is up, everyone? Kevin Hale giving it to you on this Monday night, February 13th, 2017, pre-Valentine's Day. I digress. Live tonight via Blog Talk Radio. Everyone had a great weekend. Kicking it up. Work week started today and Monday, blah day. Anyways. Looking forward to hanging out with some people tonight, good people tonight. First segment, I've got Miranda Popp, actor, model, spokesperson for today's Woman magazine. Get to talk girl stuff. I'll put on my girl hat for that segment. Actually, she probably will be able to, give anybody out there listening, guy-wise, maybe some pointers. Actually, girl-wise too, on what to do tomorrow, how to handle tomorrow, whether you're single or not single. Second segment, my guys, Russ Sean, Burton will be coming on. We'll be doing our version of Round of Shots, talking what's trending nationally, which kind of always leads us back to our great president, Donald Trump, and always the good sound bites that he provides. Sad part is, I tell the guys that we have to wait a week to talk about what Trump said since last Monday. So yeah, those guys will be on the second segment, and we'll do it then. But let's go on. Segment, turning on her mic, Miranda Popp, again, actress, models, spokesperson. She's covering all the food groups. There's a lot of hats that you wear, Miranda. What's up with you?
I wear so many hats, but I love that, especially this time of year because it's about to be a derby hat real soon. One of my very, very, very favorite times of the year. It is a busy one for so many of us who are in the media, but it's also one of the best times where we get to work so hard, but we get to play so hard too.
And tonight, you mentioned when I was, we were doing a pre-show screening, you were partying it up with the magazine, 25 years.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right?
So great. We had a wonderful party tonight celebrating 25 years. It was our birthday. It was our silver anniversary. And all of the amazing women of Kentuckiana showed up. The gang was all there. Some great speakers got up and gave some really inspiring messages, and that was a huge treat to be able to hear from so many amazing women. But I mean, it was just a fantastic time. So we're the second oldest magazine in the city of Louisville. So we're very, very, very proud of having that as part of what we do. We've been inspiring, motivating, and encouraging the women of Kentuckiana for 25 whole years.
25 whole years.
Yeah.
Wow.
25 years.
Well, we'll talk the magazine in a moment, but let's get your bio. You've got, again, like I said, your hands are in a lot of places. So give us the quick Miranda Popp bio.
Okay. Well, I went to school. I grew up, born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, went to school here. I have a biology degree. My first job out of college was as a chemist. So it makes perfect sense that now I'm an actor. I don't do chemistry anymore, but that's
I see how that all came together. Yeah.
Right, it makes perfect sense. It really does. It
Right.
makes perfect sense. I walked the halls of that lab like it was a runway for far too long, and then it made sense that was not where I belong. But so after doing that, I became a mom and spent many years raising my babies, and that was the best role of my life thus far, as being a mom. So once my babies got in school, I went back to my roots of what makes me super happy, and that is being an actor and a model, and that's kind of where my love is, as well as in the fitness world. So that's kind of where I am. I do commercial work and print modeling here in our market, and so that's Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, all the way down through Nashville. that's where my agents are. So that's pretty much the area where I travel for work here. So it's been a huge blessing. I get to meet so many people, and that's a great thing because I'm a people person. So it's such a treat to be able to introduce yourself to someone and let them just. Oftentimes they just want to talk about life, and it's so wonderful for people to be able to open up to you and just be able to share, and that is so wonderful. Probably one of my very favorite things. When I get to sit in a makeup artist chair, we have nothing but time. Well, I have nothing but time on my hands while she's sitting there doing hair and makeup. So I really get to learn about them, and it's been a huge blessing to be able to do that. And I feel like I'm able to be a blessing to them in that world. So it's been great, but it certainly has been a weird journey for me to kind of, I intended to go to medical school, but when I chose not to and I went to work as a chemist, it just, it didn't fit. I did it for a while. Yeah, and here I am doing something totally different, but I feel like God put me right where he wants me. So I've been with Today's Family and Today's Woman magazine for 6 years. I do contract work for them, and so I've had many roles over those years as a contributing editor, and I built their website. So I've had some, it's been great to be in different roles throughout those years. And now as a spokesperson and a contributing editor, I'm back to writing a little bit more. And anytime they need some TV or radio promotion, that's right where my sweet spot is. So I love being able to do that. Obviously, I'm on your radio show. I kind of enjoy that. I'm a little bit of a talker, so when I get the opportunity to MC an event like I did over the weekend, love doing that too. There's something about having a microphone in your hand, right?
A microphone and the light on you. Are you okay with having that spotlight on you? I would say
I wasn't always, but I've kind of been thrown into that because in the middle of after I was done being a chemist and then I was just being a mom for a number of years, I was representing my state of Indiana because I moved out of Louisville for 13 years, just right across the river into Indiana. So in 2013, I was representing the state as Mrs. Indiana. So that was a huge opportunity for me to be able to travel the state and really make a difference in my community, which was the whole reason I wanted to do that. The pageant world really was never part of my world, but I don't know, I felt that was where I needed to go, and that if I had that role and I was able to get a title like that I would be afforded opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise to make a difference in the lives of so many people. And boy, did that happen. I mean, I met so many people that year that I would never have in a million years. So that was a huge blessing to have that role of representing my state and then being able to represent it on a national level in Las Vegas.
Mm.
So what a treat and what a very huge blessing. I felt like that was a privilege to be able to do that.
So Today's Woman magazine, it's not, is it national as well? And it's just that
no, it's
there's
it's regional.
Okay.
It's distributed from up in Corydon all the way down through Oldham County. So it has a huge distribution, and it reaches women all over Kentucky and southern Indiana. And it's a monthly magazine.
Yeah. What is in 2017? What would be the motto for Today's Woman? What's their mantra, or I don't know, their tagline? And I'm kind of going somewhere with this in regards to our new president. So stay tuned. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it has always been the mantra, if you will, the motto to inspire, encourage, and motivate women through what we write, through what we share. We want to be a resource. So that's what we've always wanted to do, is be able to give them tools and resources to make their lives better, to make their lives easier, to enrich it, and be a tool for them. Something that they always know, like Today's Woman's going to be there when they have a question, if they are wondering what's happening in their community, when they have a concern. Mm-hmm. We're there. We're their resource, and we love being that. So it's been a wonderful honor to represent them in that capacity. But that truly is to encourage, inspire, and motivate.
Gotcha. Now, not to get too political, but with the new president. Hold on, with the new president, we go from Obama to Trump. We go from one extreme to the other when it comes to uh, just the way they express themselves. And with our new president, it's in his past, he's not been exactly the most eloquent speaker when it comes to women. Now, whether this is your view or you're speaking on behalf of what you represent, what is it like for today's woman to, I don't know, to be in this culture or this environment now? When I say the environment, the U.S. with someone like Trump as president, does it conflict with any of your beliefs or value? I mean, I don't know if you can get into that. And if you can't, that's fine. But it's a little political here. But
I cannot. Yeah, no, I cannot speak on behalf of the magazine when it comes to anything like that. But I feel that anytime that anyone has an opinion about something, whether it's political or not, and you feel that things are not in someone else's best interest, whatever that may be, it's all you can really do is do your very best to make a difference in your own life, in your own small circle, and in your own community.
Right.
So honestly, my personal view is to do the very best that I can and make a difference for the better wherever I am, whether I'm in Kentucky, whether I'm in DC, whether I'm, it doesn't matter. Right where you are, you can make a difference for the better. So, and that sounds like a kind of watered down answer, but honestly, I feel
it's a politically correct answer, Miranda.
But I truly think that if everyone can just choose to be kind and to love one another for who we are, that things will get better. Our communities will get better. It starts right here at home in our own neighborhoods when we can all just do our very best. And one great thing about Louisville is it is known as being one of the most compassionate cities in the nation. So I think we're super blessed to live in a city like Louisville, Kentucky, knowing that the community members truly want to help those who are in need. We want to help with our time. We want to help with our money. We want to help with our resources, those who need it. So that's huge. And if Louisville can be an example to the rest of the country in that compassion, I think big changes are on their way. And it doesn't have a single thing to do with politics. It's basic humanity and just loving one another and being kind. Because when it comes down to it, we want others to be kind to us. And if we're in need, we hope if we were reaching out to someone that they would lend a hand and they wouldn't look down on us for whatever reason. Those are my very personal thoughts.
I honestly, I 100% believe you're sincere. So with that said, that was the very most politically correct answer I could have gotten from you for that question. So that's not a bad.
But it wasn't even, honestly, it wasn't even intended to be PC, as one would say, because it just seems like it would be a normal thing if everyone could just want to make a difference.
You're right. Ultimately, you're right. Spread good karma, and use some common sense, right?
I think Louisville's doing an amazing thing. Our mayor is fantastic. He's making initiatives that are right in line with the compassionate city that we are, the compassionate community that we are and that we live in. So honestly, I think we can make a difference right here at home, and it's almost like a ripple effect. Because when people come into town, and you'll see this at Derby, when people come into our city from abroad, they don't know what to expect. The same is for when people come in and they bring film crews in. So a big tax incentive was signed last year. So that's why we're getting more film work in the state of Kentucky. So we're seeing a lot of folks who've never been here before. And not only are we able to share with them our Southern hospitality, but they're finding that we really are a fantastic city. The people are real. The people want to help you if you're in need. And it's bringing all kinds of money into our city. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. So it's just, I can't say enough good things. Honestly, some people they will ask me like, "Are you with the like the Visitors Bureau or what?" No, I was born and raised here, and I'm so darn proud to be a Louisvillian. I really am.
Yeah, I'm lived here all my life as well, and I can't imagine me being anywhere else. I've been to the big cities, but after a few days, I just find myself itching to come back to this pace, and this is quite okay for me. So,
Oh, for sure.
tomorrow being Valentine's Day,
Okay.
if you're talking to single women, what's the message that you would put out there for all the single ladies? And if you want to sing it the way Beyonce sing, I can't do it. But if you want to give it a shot, yeah. What's because all right, let me kind of rephrase the question. Now, if you answered that question for some 20-some-year-old, no, that's not what I want. I'm in my late 40s. I want to get that answer for the people in my bracket, because a lot of people my age, women my age, we've been there and done that. So people who are single right now probably have gone through a marriage, divorce, so they're all they've like I said, been there and done that.
Mm-hmm.
So what is
Mm-hmm.
what is today's single lady like in their 40s going in? Yeah, come on. I actually, this is good. I'm listening because I could be putting this information that you're getting ready to tell me into use.
Ooh, okay. So you want me to give her the perspective of a gal in her 40s?
Go for it. Because I know you're what, late 20s? How old are you? Can you say it? How are you?
I'm old enough to know better, but I can't really give the perspective of a woman in her 40s. But I will give you just a perspective from a woman who is single and who's gonna be single tomorrow on Valentine's Day. So
go for it.
Being single on Valentine's Day doesn't mean a darn thing. It does not define you. It does not mean you are worth less. It means that you just are living solo right now, and there is not a thing wrong with that. So many of us are in a situation like that, true, like what you said, from a breakup, from a divorce, or just plain old choosing to be single. What is great is that as a woman, that we can do whatever we want to do. Society doesn't have to say, "Oh, you're poor, pitiful you're going to be alone on Valentine's Day. That's got to be the saddest thing ever." No, just because you say it is doesn't mean it really is. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to open a bottle of wine and I'll probably watch a movie. And it's going to be just fine because I'm okay with being me. So if all the women who are gonna not be on a date somewhere, just know that they are an absolute perfect masterpiece already, that they are beautiful exactly the way they are, and that because they're single doesn't mean a darn thing. When the right person is ready for them, they'll find them.
See, I wish I had queued up a Celine Dion song and I would have played it in the background while you were saying that. Perfect. The Titanic song. Yeah, that would have been it. Actually good.
Oh my God. But I mean, you know what I'm saying. It really is. It's the truth. In society, so many times, like even in the media and being a part of the media, that's what I'm so grateful that I can have a voice, because it oftentimes is not the voice that you see from mainstream media, that you see in all of the popular magazines that say you're not good enough unless you're this size, unless you look like this, unless you are making this much money, unless you live here, unless your man looks like this, unless your man does this. Nope, it has nothing to do with anybody else but yourself. And that's what's so fantastic, is that we get to do whatever we want to do. I always say, like, this is the silliest thing, but I do say it quite often. I do a little thing called what I want. And
how long is that list, Miranda? I mean, we only have so long to talk tonight.
The list is pretty much, you know what the list is. There's no more to it. But honestly, I mean, that's what's so great about it, is if you can find where you are in your life and you're happy with it and you're doing the best you can in all aspects of it, and you're in a spot. And honestly, I feel like success is not defined by a dollar sign. Success is when you're really happy with what you have. And that's one thing about being grateful, is that that's where the happiness lies. If you can be grateful for every single part of what you have, you may not have the best of everything, but you make the best of everything. And that's where you really can find some real happiness.
You mentioned, when you have the platform and you're speaking on behalf of today's woman. What do you find what is the most frequent thing that you find yourself gravitating to today in speaking for, women? Is it inequality, or is it, whatever? But yeah.
Well, just women in general, like not speaking for the magazine, but speaking just for as a woman, in general, what do I gravitate towards in my platform is just to let honestly, it really is to let women know that they are just perfectly amazing the way they are. It really is. And so I've had the opportunity over the years to train women in fitness, and that has been a huge blessing to me, because you see a lot of women and they're unhappy with where they are in life. And sometimes it has to do with fitness, and sometimes it's not, because they just think it has to do with that. If I were a certain size, if I weighed a certain number, then I'll be happy. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth, because happiness does not lie within a size, within a dress size, within a number on the scale. So what's been my privilege in a fitness journey and health journey, honestly, and health I think can be defined with physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health, but to be a part of one's journey towards better health is being able to impart that kind of, not wisdom, because I don't feel like I'm wise at all, but to just kind of give those small pieces of information, because if you can get that kind of stuff in your head, it's so great, because oftentimes we have an internal dialogue that's telling us we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we don't weigh the right amount, we're not smart enough. And if we can get that internal dialogue to be something completely different, it's going to change your life, because I always say be careful what you're telling yourself, because you're going to believe it. Like, just be careful what you're telling yourself. So if you can get that internal dialogue to say, hey, I am good enough.
Right. I get you. And I'm totally with you. But to challenge you on that, dear, with social media and, all these, reality shows, everything, it's all geared towards the chick with the, the hourglass figure, the little petite, person, the person that's got, thousands or millions of followers on social media. Now, how do you break that glass? Because that's how the media, and it's unfair. I mean, it really is. Honestly, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine the pressure on young females in today's life. I've got kids. I've got a 15. I've got 20s, young 20s, 20-some-year-old kids, and pardon my language, the bullshit that's out there right now that, certain, people have to look this way, or because of you looking this way, you get, the attention. It's not fair, but unfortunately, that's just how the world is. And that part I don't like. I hate that part.
Yes. Well, all we can really do is educate our young kids. That is truly all we can do, is educate them and really build them up so that they have self-esteem. And I think that's part of it. And I've always taught my kids, like, they have no question as to whether they think they're smart or they think they're good enough, because they hear it from me all day long. If you can get your kids to really believe in themselves, and they have that internal dialogue, like, yes, I can do this. I am smart. I'm good at this. I'm good at math. I'm good at science, especially for girls, because you're right. We do have they're growing up in a society that we didn't grow up in, and they're being thrown right into it, and it is kind of scary. But I think if we can equip them from early on with the self-esteem to know that they already are good enough, I think that's right where it is. I really, truly do. I think that's going to combat so much of that peer pressure to be a certain way. If we can tell them that people are photoshopping and filtering the heck out of everything. once they know that, like, those girls in those magazines don't even look like those girls in those magazines. They don't look like that. So many of them. I mean, some of them do, and some of them are just absolute beautiful, 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 and that is a huge blessing to them. But so many times there's Photoshop stuff done, and if we can let our young girls know that, hey, these girls don't even actually look like that, and even if they do, that's fantastic for them, and you're perfect the way you are. You're a beautiful masterpiece, and God made you perfect exactly the way you are. Those are my 2 cents.
Miranda?
Yeah.
Oh, you use it? Okay.
Did I lose you?
I think, yeah. This is internet radio, so that means I'm at the mercy of my AT&T, which tends to suck sometimes during this time of the night, but all right. Okay. Winding up our segment, I want to do this thing I call round of shots with you. I'm going to throw 6 questions at you. 6 questions, quick Q&A. It's all meant in fun.
Okay.
First concert you attended?
Jewel.
Yeah, you are young. Good God. Long time. It was in the 90s. That's a long time. All right. Number 2. If you were stuck in an elevator with a celebrity, who would that celebrity be?
Oh my gosh, I know exactly who it would be. It would be Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock.
Absolutely, he could get us out.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want him to get you all out too soon.
Oh.
You know, I'm actually hoping Dwayne runs for president in 2020. Someone threw that little pitch at him. I sure
hope so. He ought to be the mayor of Miami at some point.
Yeah, who doesn't love The Rock?
I know. I love him. I absolutely adore everything.
You love him for different reasons than I do, but it's still love. All right. Number 3. Tell us, people listening, and I need you to be honest here.
Okay.
What was the last picture you took with your phone?
The last picture I took?
Miranda, come on. Yes.
It was at the birthday party. It was at our big birthday party. I took it. It might have been on one of the signs as I was leaving.
All right. So I'm not going to get a TMZ soundbite here, am I? No, I'm not. Okay. Number 4. What's your favorite phone app?
My favorite phone app is Instagram.
Cool. Let's see. Number 5. 5 is I need 3 answers for number 5. Tell me 3 words that your closest friends would say about you.
3 words?
3 words.
Positive, energetic, silly.
Oh, okay, that'll work. Number 6, the last one. If you had access to a time machine and could go anywhere in the past, your living past, pre-birth past, back to the dinosaurs or whatever, where would you go?
I honestly think I would go right back to the civil rights movement.
Oh.
I really do. I studied that quite a bit in college, and I was really inspired, and I can't even imagine what that would be like to be a part of making a difference in the nation during that. I mean, I really can't. I can't imagine. I think I would want to be a part of the civil rights movement.
That's cool. I like that. All right. Those were the round of shots. Miranda, share with everyone the best way to connect with you on social media.
Okay, you can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram at Miranda G Popp. Follow me on Twitter at MG Popp. So we can connect through some very fun social media platforms.
Very cool. All right, Miranda, good segment. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and good stuff. I wish you the best, and we'll stay in touch because I think I'll get you back on because you touched on it, in a couple months with Derby. I'm sure you're totally involved with all kinds of Derby stuff.
Love it. We are in the throes of the Kentucky Derby Festival right now.
All right, Miranda Popp, Today's Woman Magazine. Thanks for hanging out with me.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Take care. Miranda Popp. Good conversation. And I'm dealing with internet. your mics on and let you two talk to each other for a moment, because I have to take a break, if you will, and go to the go to the bathroom and refill my glass. Russ, let's get you up. What's up, Russ?
Well, you gonna take a number 2 or number 3?
No, it's a number 1 for now. Yeah, number 1.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but with you guys, I am comfortable doing number 2 or 3. It's just how we roll.
You can keep that 3 yourself. I found out what that was in the Robert Darrell movie over the weekend. Taking number 3 is not something I want to see you do at all.
Sean, what's up, my man?
What is happening, gentlemen?
Yeah. You guys talk amongst yourself for a couple minutes, and I will be right back.
Hey, Russ, go to hell.
Hey, yeah. Hey, get your head out of your ass, Sean.
Hey, you damn liberal, I swear I'm tired of it. Is that what people want to hear?
That's the thing. I'm not even a liberal. Good God, I'm just a sane person.
I know.
I mean, me and you probably see very, close to the same reality, even if we differ. I'm not sure the old administration people here are even, they probably see the same reality, but they just don't report on it. They just, start talking about some other shit. It's crazy. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, I kind of agree. We do see, I think we come to terms on a lot of things, though our views are quite different in so many respects. It's the fact that, at least we're two adults that can have a conversation, disagree, and then go have a beer later. I think that's what this country is missing more than anything.
Yeah, we can probably both, tell when it's raining, and when it's not raining. Stuff like that. I don't know if you're a big fan of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO, but probably not. I would suspect that his segment on Trump versus the truth was. I could be a white supremacist and acknowledge that Trump is, really far away from the truth on several just obviously, checkable things.
I think a lot of times, though, people are going back and forth so much from what's truth and what's, fabricated, what's been overly done. There's just, I find half the crap that is reported about that, if you really look into it, is so bogus, it's disconcerting. I think you just kind of have to go on by and don't give a shit.
There's some of that, but then there's whether it's raining or not, It's either Trump with his wife with an umbrella and with past presidents covered up in ponchos. One of them, had a little trouble getting it on. He said it looked like it was going to rain. There was clouds. He goes, but God said, no, I'm not letting it rain. And it rained. And he was like, no, God said he wasn't going to let it rain on his speech. So during his speech, there was no rain. It's like that's what Kim Jong-un does. Kim Jong-un, everybody will see something happen, and then he'll tell everybody, nope, that's not what happened. Now, over there, the difference is if you don't agree, then you get shot.
Exactly. There you go. That you just said the key words right there.
Well, that's
shot
country.
Yeah, in another country.
There you go.
The comparison is that the first step towards that is what our good buddy, Trump is doing.
All right, guys, I'm back. Here to bang with the gang. Yeah. All right.
Good time, you little prima donna.
Yeah.
Gang.
Well, let me see if you guys recognize this sound, because now I know where I am right now, so hang on. Yeah, you recognize that sound, don't you?
Do it again.
Well, I can't. I already opened the beer.
Oh.
I'm not going to
you were
yet.
I thought you were chambering around.
No, I could do that too, though. But
yeah. Let's.
I don't know, guys. We're in such a disgust right now. It's just I can't. It's to the point like I can't even get on social media anymore. I just keep what's that? Wow. What's that the children call it? Swipe left.
Swipe left. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm swiping left fool.
Swiping left, so you're not attracted to the information or whatever you're seeing.
What that means?
Well, swipe left. Yeah. Swipe right. Think right as in good. Correct. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I've done my fair of swiping left or right, but I'm digressing. This is not about me.
Sounds like you've done your fair share of 12-ounce curls tonight.
You know what? I'm on my second my third glass of red wine. I feel okay right now.
Sounds fantastic. What are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is the name of that?
You know,
Is the name of that wine Roofie Me, or what is it?
all right, let's let me throw out some topic to get you guys going. And I know Sean's already complained, Russ, because he's like, our show's turning into an anti-Trump, it's a Trump bashing show, and he's like, oh, when's it going to ever end? But the truth is, Sean, as long as Trump's the head guy, it's not going to end because he gives us stuff every week to talk about. And you have to admit, you know he does. Say it.
Yeah,
he does. But you know what? Before I get into Trump stuff,
reporting on it.
It's not just the left. All right, before we get into
fake
Trump,
news.
Fake news. Let's talk. There was something. Whenever our city, our wonderful city, makes the national news, you would think more times than not, you're like, it's a good thing. But the latest time our city made the national news, I think, Sean, you just by your I think you know where I'm going with this. The shit. I'm drawing a blank. The all the overdoses. Yeah. The with heroin.
52 doses in 32 hours.
Yeah. What is up with that? Talk to me. I'll let you go first, Sean. I mean, what the hell is
funny?
Causing them?
Well, okay, let's just give a quick background on it. I do work in surgery, so I work with anesthesiologists and CRNAs. So we had a discussion about this today, actually in the OR. What it is right now is that it's well, for one, it's disgusting. I can't get past it. I don't understand this whole addiction thing. I'll never call it a disease because I don't believe in calling it that. However, they're lacing it with this, what's it called? Cofentanyl or something. It's not fentanyl. Fentanyl is an anesthetic that we use in there. It's basically, we call it the milk of amnesia. It's what allows you to not remember going into the OR. This cofentanyl that they're using, though, is an elephant tranquilizer. 1 milligram can kill 50%. In other words, 50% of humans will die at 1 milligram of this drug. 1 milligram. And they're lacing it with, so it's not a bad drug, but they're lacing it in the heroin, which is what's causing all these overdose stuff. I mean, the Narcan supply right now in the city is diminished because they literally they went through it all. EMS was so busy over the weekend, it was insane because of this latest craze that's going on. So to wrap my thoughts up, it sucks. Yeah, go ahead. It's pathetic.
Oh, yeah.
If 50% of them are dying, then obviously they're just pussy. It's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad move. But what I'm thinking is probably this is what happened. I mean, your average homeless junkie in the street doesn't get their news right away, So, and even when they do, if they got the news, then they might have been high that week. So it's taken this long for a few of them to realize that Trump won. And they're like, fuck it. They had, at first, they didn't have much of a reason to live, they didn't think. But then when they found that out, they're like, holy shit, might as well just get real fucking high now.
Well, to add to this, a St. Matthews woman was arrested last Thursday. 47 pounds of heroin was found in her possession. I don't know what 47 pounds looks like. It sounds like a fucking lot. Not to mention all this cash and everything. But
it's like a third grader.
I guess the upside is that apparently, the reality is that there probably were some lives or, a lot of people that didn't wind up in the ER because of this bust. So,
good. He is doing their job, or LMPD doing their job.
Right.
Good.
Yeah. So, good. Yeah, good.
I'm sorry, guys. I have very little tolerance for any type of drug. That's just me. Now, somebody will sit here and argue tooth and nail with me that alcohol is a drug. Okay, fine. Now that you've got that in your system.
No, it's not. To me,
I don't either. But I get a lot of people that say it's more addictive than marijuana. It's like, okay, you believe your story that your potheads are telling you, and I'll believe the truth that I've studied in school. However, what I'm saying is, I just don't buy this. I've been against it my whole life, and I, to this day, still won't even touch them. Because for one, I'm a lightweight when it comes in. It took me 4 hours to come out of anesthesia, for Christ's sake, when I had my surgery. So, could you imagine me? I mean, I'm already high strung. Could you imagine me on like cocaine or something? It would be ridiculous. I would figure out a way to fly like rockets.
It actually, drugs like that often have the opposite effect on people who are high strung. It calms them down. That's why they give kids. Really? That's why they give kids with ADHD Ritalin. Ritalin is basically like cocaine.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
it's speed
and Adderall. So those type of drugs affect people like that. Because I know, because I've taken Ritalin before, and it actually made me shut up and listen to people, which was pretty wild.
Well, see, that's the funny thing about it. I have ADD as well. And what it does is that our brains fire at a much higher rate. So we can't concentrate on one thing. That's why we get sidetracked. So what it is speed. It has an adverse reaction. So what it does is it actually slows the firing of your brain down, which you would think it'd speed everybody else up. But every time I took it, I got tired. And I was over it. I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Mm-hmm. I have to share this story because, being shooting straight right now, I've never tried cocaine. But in my early 20s, I had this opportunity to do it. I was on my way over to a friend's apartment, and that was the plan. He had got some of his buddies had lined up some of the powder, and I was heading over there to give it a shot. Well, I get over there, and I guess this is, how things work, Russ. Maybe some higher being was, some divine intervention was looking out for me. But I get there, and the door's unlocked. I walk in, and no one's there. Come to find out, they had hit it before I got there. And my friend, after one, line, his heart rate was going crazy. They had to rush him to the ER. He thought he was going to die. All I had to do was hear that story, or witness, not in the sense of because I did go to the hospital, witness him, hear the story, and from that point on, I've had zero interest in doing any type of drug. Seriously, any type of drug that, cocaine or crack, whatever. None of that shit. I have no interest in that. None.
I got a thing for you though. When you get to heaven and you're about to thank God for intervening like that.
And I never said I was going to thank God.
I know, but be sure to ask him why he sent that tsunami that drowned 100,000 kids in Haiti.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. Right.
Like children.
You're right.
Ask him, because that was a dick move. He should have totally let you do that cocaine.
A dick. Oh, God. All right.
I'm glad this is a call-in show and we're not sitting in the same studio. That's all I got to say.
Why? Would you feel
the need to defend God? He can defend himself.
No, because I know he said it before. He thinks, Sean thinks that he doesn't want to be around you because you say so much of that stuff because of lightning bolt. He's afraid of a lightning bolt.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. See, Russ, if you don't believe in God, why are you saying, oh, God?
Yeah, there we go. There. Yeah, explain that, Russ. Explain it.
Well, I could, but I would have to tell you it's a cultural, conceptual colloquially. So, colloquialism.
All right. Staying in Kentucky. I'm kind of working my way from Louisville throughout the state to eventually D.C. and the dick moves that are going on out there. But did you hear, Russ? Did you hear, Russ? The Kentucky Kentucky Senate passes a bill to allow religion in schools. Did you hear that?
Oh yeah, I saw all that. I'm wondering what the House of Representatives is going to do. Hopefully, there's enough sane people out there that are like, this is unnecessary.
Okay, let me ask you this: what's wrong with it? Seriously, what's wrong with having religion in schools? As long as you don't force it on somebody, what's wrong with allowing kids that want to pray to pray?
Well, it's kind of like the article that was on was the Tri-State Freethinkers page the other day, You got in a rural county in Kentucky, you have it's like might have been Shelbyville and Henryville or something. They got a big circle of kids praying like either before or after the game. Well, not everybody believes that certain type of mythology. Other people have different mythology. Some people have no mythology, and so they're not doing. They can worship and do all that anytime they want to, or before, or after, or any other time. What they're doing there is putting on a public display to see who's with them and who's not with them. And, you might think that, no, they're not doing that. Well, yeah, somewhere in their mind they're registering that, and some of them more so than others. So it's an exclusionary tactic in those types of cases when they're just talking about praying. Now, if you move on to just teaching it in schools, no problem if you're teaching it from a secular perspective, saying, hey, this is what some people believe, blah, 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 blah. Not that, hey, this is our country, and this, it was founded. It wasn't founded on. It was founded on exactly not that. It was founded on not subscribing to any particular religion. They meant any type of sect in their religion, because they were killing each other in England over Catholics and Protestants. So they were mainly saying, we are not a Christian nation. We're no kind of religious nation. Everybody just be what you want, and we'll keep the government separate. That's what they meant to do, and that's what should keep on occurring.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I totally get that, for the people that don't want to, whether it's exclusionary tactic or not. I mean, it's just the simple fact that, people want to show their faith. Does it offend somebody? Does it offend them that it's so bad because somebody wants to pray? Is that offensive to you? Well, here's the problem with that. You know what? Be offended. Nobody's ever died from being offended. Nobody's ever been, hey, those kids were praying over there, and this morning I woke up with leprosy. Doesn't happen, okay? But nobody really cares. Nobody should care.
Well, you're spending a lot of time on social media because it's not really about, I'm not offended by it. What I am is it's not offended. It's pissed off because the rules of our country are being broken. It's like, wait a minute, this is not it is offensive in that way, but not like, oh my God, I can't believe. It's none of that. It's that doesn't belong there, and the Establishment Clause dictates that it doesn't belong there. And and who cares? I mean, nobody wants to watch a bunch of Muslims put prayer towels down and bow to Mecca before a basketball game. I certainly wouldn't want to see that. I don't want to see, the Jews get down there and do whatever the Jews do. I don't even know. I mean, what do they do? Just say Jesus wasn't real, and the Old Testament God the God that hates fags is Israel, but he was just kidding about hating fags.
But what you're telling me though is that you don't want to see it, which implies you're being offended by it, or that it angers you, whatever you want to call it.
No, you just skipped over the whole part of the but you conveniently skipped over a whole part of the argument. I don't want to see any of it. I don't want to see any religion. I don't want to see Tom Cruise. I don't want to get to see Tom Cruise down there telling me about Scientology for 3 seconds either. I don't screw Tom Cruise. He's gonna, he's
it's your choice to walk away. It's your choice to walk away during that. I didn't skip over anything.
At a public park, you just skipped over another big part. Yeah, it's your choice to walk away, anywhere. But school where your tax dollars pay for it, it shouldn't be there. Some people don't want it. So, it doesn't matter if it's 5% of the people that didn't want it in a public thing. Our Constitution says, no, sorry, we will respect it. It's the same. It's like I'm as fervent about that as I am the Second Amendment. We shall make no law, abridging the right to bear arms. I'm 100% on that. An Establishment Clause, we shall make no law that respects the establishment of any religion. I love that amendment just as much as I love that Second Amendment. And to belittle one belittles the other. If you're going to argue that way on this particular amendment, then the people who argue that way on the Second Amendment, you're going to have to agree with them on that. You can't have it both ways.
Well, you can't take weapons into certain places, so that's part of the establishment.
I mean, if logical fallacy for that. If we're comparing apples to apples, that doesn't play.
No, man, I'm just telling you. What I'm saying here, though, is you're saying it just doesn't need to be in the schools or whatever. Me personally, I don't really care if it's in the schools. I mean, regardless of what people think about a religion, regardless if you despise religion, regardless if you despise the Bible, you think it's all bullshit, you think it's a bunch of mythological bullshit. Okay, fine, I can get behind that. That's cool. That's what you want to believe. I respect that. But what I'm saying are the people that do believe it, the people that live their life by the Bible. Okay, now some of them are very overly judgmental, but those are the extremists that we hear the most about. Okay, I know plenty of people that they go to church every Sunday, they read the Bible, and they talk to me like I'm talking to you guys, right? Okay, I'm just stating I don't think it's that big of an issue. And I don't think that they're saying that the legislation is saying that it has to be mandatory prayer. Everybody has to pray. But it shouldn't be taken out just because a few people get offended by it or get pissed off by it or however you want to spend it. Regardless, it's still freedom of religion.
Yeah.
We are
government.
Now, religion should not run our government. I'll go with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, private schools, and they do that as well. I'm just saying, government shouldn't run religion shouldn't run our government. I can definitely get behind that 100%. But what I'm stating is, and the reason I even say that is because, you have the extremists that want to run the government through religion, okay? I think your average Joe that just says, you know what, you probably shouldn't kill people. You should honor your father. The 10 Commandments, whatever. I don't care what anybody wants to say about them, all right? It's just kind of a guideline for life. And that's just stuff that we know as human beings, stuff that we know as Americans. All right?
You know what's going to cure this? Here's what's going to cure it. When the people used to not would do it, but now they're going to do it, especially out in California. If some kind of prayer, school prayer is passed and it's fine, what'll happen is the very next, and they've done it down in Florida at Tallahassee at a big state meeting. They had like a satanic prayer to open the Congress one time, and they about lost their mind. But when the Muslims have to do a thing before, if the Christians are going to do it, then the Muslims do it, and then you get some Hindu 9-armed guy out there doing a little thing before it. That's when all of a sudden they're going to start interpreting that amendment a little bit like the gun amendment. They're going to say, oh yeah, no, let's just take it all out. They're not going to want to see any of that shit. I can guarantee you that, because that's it with equal protection clause. We'll go to another one. The equal protection clause saying if you're going to respect one thing, you got to respect the other. So that'll solve itself if it comes to that. But there's no sense in worrying about it now, because I don't think it could pass in Kentucky anyway. I mean, I wouldn't have thought it was the Senate either, so I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right, and I'll agree with you on that. It probably won't pass. My only argument is I don't see the harm in it. I don't. As I've told you guys many times, I believe in God. Okay, I don't go to church. I don't read the Bible. I do believe there's a God, and that's just my faith. That's what keeps me going on a daily basis. Okay, whether I look up and I say a prayer every now and then, that's between me and Him. That's between me and myself. However you want to look at it. I don't ask for anybody's permission to do it, and I'll do it when I damn well please. And if people don't like it, like I said, you don't like what I do in my country, you can head north, south, east, or west, and eventually get out of this country. I'm just going to throw that out there.
So how would you feel though if you were at like a high school basketball game for a public school and you had to watch some kind of Islamic ceremony? How would you feel about that?
Let me say this: the Islamic religion or Muslim religion is a very peaceful religion. The extremists that are taking it to the next level, quite frankly, it wouldn't bother me. I don't care. I see it now. There are Muslims here that practice religiously. We're coming up on Ramadan. I think we're actually in Ramadan right now. I have doctors that will stop. They won't stop in the middle of a surgery. Let me back up. Let me clarify that. They don't stop in the middle of a surgery. Oh, excuse me, I must pray. Nothing like that, guys. Okay, but they do between surgeries or between visits or whatever. They go and they practice their religion in a country that allows you to practice whatever religion you want, even the satanic ones. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with people smoking pot every day, but they do it.
Okay, let's talk some other. One of the this is going to take us into the sports world, guys. Since the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, we've had a handful of players from the Patriots who have come out and declined this upcoming visit to the White House, and they're doing their and it's basically because of their differences with Trump. And Trump, knowing how we do know him, knowing how thin-skinned he is, he hasn't responded yet. But once this definitely takes shape, when a lot of players are not going to be there, this is an opportunity where celebrities or athletes get to state their beliefs and their messages. And our president, Sean, he doesn't react well when he feels like he's being slighted or made fun of, i.e. Saturday Night Live, or anybody taking shots at him. He'll put the United Nations, an important United Nations call on hold to respond to a celebrity who just dissed him. You know, he has to get on his Twitter in 140 words, make a comeback towards Alec Baldwin or something. But I guess my point is that you say so, but Trump, it's not just so to Trump. It truly eats at him that he doesn't have the blessing of the people. It does.
Well, I think as any president would, but.
Well, I don't know. Obama did not, in the middle of the night, go on Twitter raids or rants and, digress from important meetings to say, this athlete or so is, they didn't do that. So this is where we're only so many weeks into his presidency. The game is just starting, because whether it's the athletes, the comedians, Saturday Night Live people, the skits are driving him crazy. I could see somebody like Saturday Night Live being the ones who just get him to go, fuck it, I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm serious. It will be to that.
The KGB might be a little upset with that, Kevin.
I know.
What's the question you're asking me? What do you want me? What question do you want me to answer?
I guess the question is that how much with right now with the Super Bowl Patriots, and you got right away all these guys are balking at going to the White House. The trend has started, and actually the truth is, in go figure. The first person that got the trend really started was Tom Brady when Tom dissed Obama. So it's kind of ironic that it's working the other way around, because Tom's a Trump guy, but all of these guys, there's like 8 now, and they're not just 8 off special teams. These are 8 of the bigger name players who are refusing to go. That's gonna get a rise out of Trump. And
any white ones yet, Kevin?
I think there is at least one. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want it to just be, they'd be like, oh, okay, we understand. If there was no white guys, they'd be like, oh, well.
Yeah, I think there's one. I guess I don't even know if it's a question here. It's just that the groundwork is laid out to where athletes, you're going to see celebrities, you're going to see people who normally go to the White House and celebrate some type of victory, some type of, success, who are not going to attend. And this is going to hurt Donald J's feelings. It will. He's so thin-skinned. He's not built for this. Russ, does this speed up the process to where, we keep saying that Pence is going to be number 46. I think these are one of the factors that's going to play into Trump. I can't take this no more. I can't do this no more.
Yeah, but didn't you guys also say that Trump wasn't going to win? Just throwing that out there.
I can't remember.
Silence.
Well, because it was another one of them apples and oranges thing again, though. Because it's the other one's a prognosis of an election. This is whether he fucks up so bad that he gets impeached or just can't stand it. Kevin's just asking a hypothetical. Will he get? To answer your question, Kevin, no, he will not get to the point. He could have a 10% approval rating, and he would still be just booing the haters. It wouldn't make a shit bit of difference to him. I don't think so. I don't.
Which his approval ratings are at an all-time low.
Oh, well, yeah, I know that. We get the same thing through Obama as well.
Liberal media, Kevin.
I mean, I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't know what's really the way I look at it. I mean, if I was the team owner, I'd be like, I don't give a crap what your political views are, you sons of bitches. I pay you this much money a year. Get your ass to the White House and represent the damn team. I love when celebrities take their status, the Ashley Judds, the Madonnas, the retarded ones of the Hollywood world, or the I don't know what it would be for music now, because Tennessee's not the big thing. Anyway, I love how they think that because they're celebrities, they have this, I can say what I want and do what I want and all this other crap. It's this country that gave you the opportunities that you have. Yes, you worked hard for them, but you had the opportunities to basically be a positive role model. Instead, you spend your time spewing a bunch of bullshit rhetoric that you hear on social media instead of standing up for America. I don't care if you don't like President Trump, as I've said many times. It's our responsibility as Americans to support the president. Now, do we question him? Abso-freaking-lutely. Every chance we get. That's our responsibility as voters. But damn, guys, the amount of bashing that goes on, and this happened in Obama, it happened with Bush, and it happened with Clinton. Okay? The amount of bashing and energy that it takes to do that, why don't you turn it around and do something positive for once instead of running your lips? I'm not saying you guys are running your lips, but I'm saying these celebrities.
Russ is
Colin Kaepernick. I hope he has explosive diarrhea that prolapses his rectum.
Good God. What is wrong with you? It's a family show.
He died. Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, Kevin, but I'm glad that the person that I work for can't tell me what the hell to do. I'd hate for Safeco to call me up and say, hey, you got to go do a commercial supporting Donald Trump because you work for us, and we get to tell you what to do even in your personal life. That sounds like a horrible job. I wouldn't even want to work at a place that would make me do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't misconstrue what I said now. Don't misconstrue what I said. Okay?
That didn't have anything to do with what you said. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to, speaking on the topic, I wouldn't want to work anywhere that could tell me how I had to, act when I didn't do that job, is what I'm saying. As an American, I would want that freedom, is all I'm saying. It has nothing to do with what you said. I'm just looking at the situation.
Tonight, guys, when I put the post on Facebook, I asked or offered people who wanted to purge their Trump thoughts or political thoughts to come on, call in, and we've got a caller. This cat is pretty damn talented. He's from the musical world. Zach Longoria, with the Zach Longoria Project. ZLP.
Oh, Christ, I already know where this is going. We've already argued on Facebook.
I did. As soon as I knew Sean was on here, I'm like, let's do this.
What is up, Zach? Talk to us, Zach.
What's up, fellas? Sean, how you doing, man? You all right?
What's up? What's up, my brother?
Not much, brother, dude. No ill will or bad feels here, man. All good.
No.
All right, we poke fun at each other.
Tell us what's on your mind.
Man, I'm going to tell y'all something. As I feel like it's easy for people to come across a certain way through the mediums that are social media. But if I was a person you sat down once and we talked politics, you realize there's a lot to how I feel about certain things, and with Trump in particular. And I love politics. I went to school. I thought for a while that's what I was going to do. Got into music and realized that that's a much better fit for me. My wife actually worked on Andy Bashir's campaign, so I got to kind of see that world pretty up close, and it's pretty gross, fellas. If we're just being honest, it's a gross world, and I think that with this election, and I heard Sean say earlier, I think we all did. Democrats as a whole need to take a step back and realize that we really underestimated the anxieties that a lot of Americans have. And the problems going on in blue-collar, middle America with the loss of their jobs through manufacturing, through a lot of different factors that we could talk at length about, and that there's a lot of those things that really do exist. And I think the rise of Donald Trump from both parties' perspective was really underestimated. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think he's a bullshit artist or the absolute worst. That's of course, but I do understand why he was relevant for the time being. I don't think Donald Trump could have ever won in any other election that wasn't this particular one. And I fully admit I was one of the people that thought, like, there's no way in hell, because I didn't understand from the conservative angle, and I got a lot of conservative buddies, how in the hell he resonated with anybody on the right. Especially when it comes to issues, like the moral ones or family values and things like that, because that's just it's not there. But then again, I guess I really underestimated the fact that the Republican Party as a whole is very multifaceted in social views, much more than I probably thought. I think much more than the left thought. So I think the rise of Donald Trump is twofold. One, there was extreme anxiety from middle class, blue collar workers. A lot of manufacturing jobs were lost after the Great Recession, and a lot of that had to do with banks and shitty loans to the housing market crisis and all those different things. Then there was the other thing with automation and moving markets in general. A lot of different things are happening, and those jobs are relevant. We're seeing it in our own state with coal, excuse me. And we're seeing the decline of coal and the fact that energy source is no longer relevant now because we have things like natural gas, lower imports from China, and China's production through the roof. So we don't see those type of jobs anymore, and like we're just not being honest about why those things are happening and putting a lot of blame on the wrong things. And that's where my disconnect with Trump is. Like, I agree there are a lot of issues that with, Eastern Kentucky in our own state with the decline of coal and how we should go about, helping those places, whether it's giving them new manufacturing jobs, retraining them, et cetera, whatever we can do. And like, I'm about those approaches, but I think the biggest disconnect is that the right, and Trump in particular, really ran on this falsehood that like all of a sudden there was going to be more coal or somehow it's going to come in more demand and we can bring those jobs back. And the same thing with people in Detroit with manufacturing jobs. Like this, jobs aren't going to come back, and we're not going to be able to bring jobs back from overseas they can do it there cheaper. And you're going to implement a tax. Okay, well, how are you going to get that even passed? Because you can't just executive order everything through. So it's like a lot of question marks about certain things. And I think as time has gone on with Trump, we've seen in real time that most of the shit he wants to get done is really not possible, one, and even if he implements it, when you see the numbers, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I think that's the most frustrating thing. It's like I'm a pretty pragmatic individual, and I think that the fears and anxieties the right have to an extent are valid, and the left needs to do a better job of listening to that. It's just that we need to have a conversation within the proper context, and that context has to be what the facts are. And it can't just be like something that's being made up to appeal to one's fears or to appeal to one's anxieties about, some middle of the road, guy that lost his job in Detroit, who maybe has a high school education, but he got a good job working at a factory and had a nice union job. That job disappeared for him. And now that person has to sit and see his way of life decline and see liberals on TV talking about wanting to give, healthcare to every person they see as a different race, or maybe they're not American. And like I can understand where that could be like, well that's fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm an American too. I lost my job. Where's my help? And I think like that's a real thing you can legitimately have a conversation about. The problem is that one person's idea is wrong in how he feels about that way, but we shouldn't tell him like fuck off. We should hear that, but at the same time we shouldn't exploit that. And I feel like that's what's happened basically, is that we've exploited this idea that the problems we have are because the left or the right's giving or not giving something to some certain type of group. And we're basically fighting each other on that, and it's semantics, really. Instead, we should be talking about what are the issues and see the same set of facts and agree that these things are problems and then debate the solution to those problems. Instead, you have one half that thinks climate change is completely bullshit, and the other half that's like, well, everybody, all the scientists around the world agree. Like, can we just like come up with some solutions? But no, we are having a debate about if it's even real. And that's a true saying across the board with any issue we try to talk about. Everything is polarized. If I say it because I'm a liberal, Sean may think, well, that's probably some liberal bullshit. In fact, it could be the opposite. Maybe it's actually something, if we saw it and nobody from either side was giving us any kind of influence, we may actually agree on this if we knew this was the true thing. And we could, but then again, how do you even go about doing that? There's so much misinformation out there. There's so many different things. Go ahead, sorry. I'm done. I'm off my box.
Things get misconstrued so much over social media anyways, and I think that's where most of us have our intellectual, I'm using quotation fingers right now, intellectual conversations. And the fact that
like Dr. Evil.
Yes, exactly. I invented quotation fingers. At least I invented
the laser.
But I think that's where a lot of the miscommunications coming in, and that's what irritates me more than anything. The fact that we spend so much time belittling people, and I'm sorry, what I find more than anything is if I don't agree with the left agenda, they immediately resort to insults, because it's like the whole you're stupid. Oh yeah, you're stupid too. It's kind of like, well, that's a snappy comeback. I'm having a great time.
I think that's right. I think you're exactly right. I think the left has a problem with when people disagree with us, and I really strongly against this. Calling somebody just if you're a Republican, then you're a racist. No, they are not. Is it true that there is a faction in the Republican Party that are racist overtly? Without question. But I think there is no question that what conservatism is, and I understand it, and I actually agree with a lot of the core principles of conservatism about civil liberties and freedom in general. And I think like there's no question about like those things in conservatism. I absolutely agree with. The disconnect I have a lot of times with conservatism is when that is cherry picked. When it's like, I'll give you a prime example of something that drives me nuts with the right. And this is just one particular instance of where I feel like the right should be the loudest voices. And that is, and I'm not going to even throw race in there because it's not a thing, but when you see, and we find out, in fact, and I know it's not true in all cases, but we have seen in cases where a police officer has shot an unarmed civilian, killed him. It amazes me that the party of civil liberties, who is absolutely against government overreach, absolutely against all these different things, is silent when a government employee, literally on the front lines of a person of government that kill you, kills an unarmed person. And I'm not throwing race in there. I'm talking about in any case, because it happens to white people too. In any case of instance when it happens, it's somehow different. Like how is that not the same thing? So for me, I feel like that's an issue where the right really misses the mark to really drive home their core message. And maybe it's because police officers as a whole tend to be more Republican. Maybe it's because we have ingrained things about how we feel about people from inner cities and how maybe things are given to us visually that we tie into that. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is that in and of itself is a hypocrisy with me with conservatism that I don't get. And that shit exists on the left, no question. And I hate those things about my own party. But that's one core instance where I really it confuses me.
That's a touchy subject in general, though.
It is.
Being shot unarmed, because there has to be, without any type of doubt, that this person was unarmed. And
sure.
You know it as well as I do, as well as the American people know it. There's a lot of fabricated bullshit that have came out with these with the ones that happened about a year ago.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Total crap. And I don't.
But for every one of those. No, I'm with you. But we also all saw the video of the little boy in the park. That one still this day doesn't sit well with me. We all saw that one. And that one's hard to explain.
That should be definitely investigated, and that should be taken care of appropriately.
And Sean,
I agree with that.
I think the biggest thing, and I've said this many times about my best friend in the whole wide world is like my conservative opposition, and we have in-depth conversations, and they're beautiful because he's a very educated, well thought out, well put together individual, and I grew up other side of the tracks poor most of my life. So my liberalism is a little different than maybe some wealthy, well-to-do kid who came from a traditionally wealthy family who all of a sudden takes up all these social issues. Like I came from and experienced some of those firsthand. So that's like where that comes from for me. But I also am a pragmatist and a reasonable, rational human being, and I can understand, and I try to understand as best I can how the right may feel about that. And you're right, Sean. Narratives got drawn in the sand. Especially when they talk about Michael Brown and things like that, where it turned out that what we thought was true wasn't, and we let our anger and what we assumed to be true dictate our conversation about that thing. And that also,
and I think that goes so many places, though.
Right, and that also goes both ways. That one instance also allowed people on the right to assume that anything we heard similar, well, we are going to assume this. And I think the biggest thing, and I think this is where we really lose when we talk about race, especially as a cultural thing, is that there is a different experience for Black Americans that we don't understand. And I think we really lose everything when we somehow deny that they feel that or diminish the fact that they shouldn't feel that, as opposed to just like, let's just have a conversation about it. And like, I think that's where I think if we allow ourselves to talk about it in a real way, that the angers on both sides would really go down. Because I think that's where most of the anger comes from, is that one side feels like they can get their voice heard, and the other side feels like they need to shut the hell up and quit their bitching. And it's actually both are correct to an extent. One side needs to do a better job of listening, and the other side needs to do a better job of communicating those fears. And I think the Black Lives Matter movement started out as a good thing, and then you had people that went rogue, and the right did everything they could to paint the whole movement as such, but the core message was missed. And they both fucked that up. But the core message was missed in the sense that, like, there needs to be a dialogue that these things exist. And some people experience a different reality than others. That doesn't mean, like, privilege or any of that kind of shit. I'm not going to even go there. But it just means, like, being able to have the ability to feel or try to understand the plight of another. And that is it. That's a good step in a good dialogue to have. And I have lots of black friends that came from the west of Louisville and whoever else I play music with. And like when they tell me how they grew up, I just feel like an asshole for even bringing up how I thought I grew up hard, because it's insane, and that exists. And it's relevant to the conversation, and there's no question that there are shitty people, and there are shitty people in all walks of life that just fuck things up for the rest of us. But we have got to do a better job of allowing ourselves to be more sympathetic to trying to understand one another's differences, because we're not a whole lot different. There's not a whole lot. After Sean and I sat down and had a beer, probably realized that we probably have a lot of things in common. That's what I find about anybody that I have anything politically with. There's a lot of things we have in common. The things that make us different are usually you can really pinpoint the moment that something changed how you felt about something else politically. Something happened to you, and you experienced something, and that is something that's where the dialogue has to be. Why do you think that way? What fucking made your gears turn like that? Like that should be the conversation.
Let me jump in real quick. Now today, no, you're fine. With Flynn, Michael Flynn, the security advisor. Now there was talk that he had conversation with Russia prior to what's the timeline on this? But anyways,
I know what you're talking about. Before the election happened. Before the
election. Kellyanne Conway came out today. Russ, you still there? Oh, Russ.
He must have passed out.
Hey, no, my phone got stuck on mute. I was going to say, Kellyanne Conway. Yeah, that's what I started calling Mallory. When Mallory's lying to me, I call her Kellyanne Conway.
Oh, there you go. All right, so Kellyanne Conway today announced that after all this stuff had been going on with Flynn, that the White House, that Trump was 100% supporting Flynn. And then since, though, who is the guy that comes out and does that? Spicer came out and made some comments. But anyways, here's the latest, guys. Michael Flynn has resigned. Keith Kellogg will be the interim national security advisor due to the resignation of Michael Flynn. So obviously there was something more to it than or something to it, as
I mean, there could have been something to it. I'm sure the Trump administration, they've taken a lot of shit in the last couple of weeks, and I mean, most of it probably warranted. I mean, they've been caught on the record just absolutely making shit up so many times, and the ban, you want to call it a Muslim ban, or the not Muslim ban that just specifically banned only Muslim countries, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we could say we think it would keep America safe, or was relevant, or whatever else. But I think we can all agree that the rollout was just about as poorly executed as anything I've ever seen in government. It was awful, and real innocent people and people's lives were caught in the crosshairs on that. And even if the motive for it was a good one, you can't do a sweeping thing like that and have it be executed so shitty. And people's anger was warranted. That was god awful. So I mean, we can have a discussion about national security and what we think we should do in keeping ourselves safe from terrorists. I don't think anybody would disagree with having that dialogue. But in the context of what Trump's rhetoric was about Muslims in general, and he said that shit, and what his rhetoric was on that, and then the agenda he pushed thereafter, and how poorly it was thrown together, and who it affected, and for what reason. When you tie it all together, I mean, it's hard to not really to feel like anybody who's angry doesn't have a valid argument. You can, of course, national security is important, but that was a shit show. That was bad. Bad.
Russ, speak. I haven't heard you in 5 minutes, Russ. Unmute, Russ.
Are you on mute again? Russ, unmute. I hear you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was making a snack, man. I was making a snack. Yeah, no, it sucks, dude. It wasn't good in any way, and I guess, I didn't get to read the thing, so I don't know, what's going on. I thought it was very suspect that, so many of the countries where the Trump suites are that they didn't get banned. I was like, man, it seems like Egypt would be a good one to ban. 9 of the 11?
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, too.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia too, but Saudi Arabia is kind of our, only fake ally in the Middle East. So we better hang on to those guys, I guess. But
Right.
Yeah. So
That's Sean.
I like
Of
you
course,
guys.
it's Sean. Like you really had
Sean,
to question that. Come on.
Yeah. Do you not agree with Russ?
No, I mean, I was just laughing at the Saudi Arabia thing. I mean, Saudi's already felt our wrath. So Saudi, I mean, same thing we did in the early 90s.
The Great Battle of Desert Storm.
I'm just saying the same thing that we did.
My dad was a Desert Storm. It's really funny. No, it is.
Well,
it's always always talks to my dad about his wartime experience. I'm using my quotey fingers as well.
Well, I mean, what we're saying is that even the first time we went over to Iraq, of course we didn't kill Saddam. Instead, we put him on a little. He was our puppet for a while. It's like we've already come over here and fucked you up once. Don't make us do it again. I think Saudi took that to it. Regardless of what businesses are over there, what trade agreements or anything like that's going on. I mean, unfortunately, we have to have ties to the Middle East.
Hey, Sean, this is where I need my conspiracy theorist guys to come on and talk about how the government, works all that out with
Well, I think that's not a conspiracy theory, though. I think our government is pretty well documented. The CIA has had a huge role from the 1960s and 70s, even in the 80s. With overthrowing and putting in regimes, a lot of times for dictatorships who align their interests with ours. That is well documented. That's not a conspiracy theory. Iran's a good example. In Iraq, Sean's exactly right. Saddam Hussein, where they thought we absolutely overthrew their government, and then they had the whole Shia Sunni thing there. And when Saddam massacred his people, we did nothing, basically because he was going to give us the oil we wanted, and he was in line with our interests. And we've done that all over the world. We're just now hearing about it now, but we've done that shit. Oh, yeah. John is definitely right on that.
But once again, taken out of context, though, I think, as I still said, this wasn't a whole oil-based industry or a whole oil-based interest. I mean, we get more oil from Kuwait than we do most other places, which is why the Kuwaitis pay the government $50 million a year to send troops over there. Trust me,
right.
I've been there.
But Iraq was also going to price their oil not in the dollar, which was a big deal for us.
Right.
I think that definitely played a role. They were going to take their oil out of American currency, and our currency is the world's underlying currency. I mean, if the dollar goes down or oil gets priced out of the dollar, that really changes what our worth is. So it's a huge deal.
And it's so amazing because when we took down the Husseins, both the Kuma, whatever his son's names were, I can't pronounce it anyway. Who gives a shit? They're dead. They were seized with millions. Saddam himself was seized himself when they found him. He had over $36 million in American currency stockpiled in his little hut there in the desert, or his little tunnel is where they found him. So, I mean, it's always about the money. The American dollar has always been the most valued one. So,
let me jump in.
The world reserve currency, that's the word I was using. That's what our money is.
Let me jump in. One of the big deals today, guys, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau met with our President Trump. One of the things that supposedly came up in conversation was NAFTA. Russ, I'll start with you. Two guys who clearly are on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to, ideas and the way they treat people and such. What's if you're the fly on the wall? What do you think you're hearing or getting out of these conversations? Because actually, Trump's words is that who has been very anti-NAFTA kind of dialed back a little bit and said he'll be tweaking it. This is after his conversation with Trudeau.
Probably because he's starting to see his money interests that got him elected aren't really on board with getting rid of NAFTA, I imagine. Yeah. But I'm actually not for NAFTA or the 232. I think trade agreements have a lot to do with our problem with Mexico and other countries. But they're beneficial to some extent.
Yeah, Zach. Let me get Russ in here. Russ, go.
He's gonna flip flop and he's gonna do whatever is in his best interest from day to day. So I mean, it very well I mean, he may dial back. I mean, I keep thinking he's going to, pull back on the wall, but I think the wall is just like a symbolic thing for like NASCAR fans. They got to have it just to root for it or something. But, but yeah, I think he will. He'll switch from day to day depending on which way the wind's blowing or who's up making. It's about the deal, man. It's about the art of the deal. If he's got one deal going and a bigger, better, me and my buddies in college used to call it the BBD. You got one chick on the hook, but a BBD comes up, a bigger, better deal, you go with that. Well, Trump's just brought that to the presidency. He's like saying, okay, I got this deal going, but, tomorrow I might have a bigger, better deal, and then this deal's going to, just be shit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, with NAFTA and TPP, there's a lot of valid cons with trade deals, and NAFTA is a perfect example. Like we get things manufacturing wise, and it helps our allies get things manufacturing wise. But a country like Mexico, which you think about two different countries for a second, Canada and Mexico share a border with us, and you think about the way their economies work and which one was a part of what deal, and how the cause and effect. And we could talk about the war on drugs and blah, blah, blah. No, that's been the thing. But if we really had open and good trade with Mexico and we were helping them with us become an economic power, we wouldn't have a mass immigration issue. There would be business for them. But they were kind of excluded out of that whole deal. So it kind of makes sense in a way that, we are a very smart country that makes economic deals with other countries because it's always in our best interest. And Canada has a much better interest for us for a lot of reasons than Mexico, and we made those deals, and we're living in the residual of what happens when you share a border with a country that you don't have any economic interest in. And that's got to change. I mean, economics is that's how fucking France and England haven't killed each other yet. And eventually figured out, hey, if we do business together, we'll like one another. So, that's true across the board. And
it's always about money.
Deals
You think governments run on a freaking moral platform? Come on, guys. It's always about money.
Well, no, they don't. That's why I can't
understand
why we're still talking about Jesus in schools and abortion and whatnot. Like, it's about money, damn it. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, realize this shit.
Amen.
You know what? Let's get. Wait a minute. I got this because Zach's the new guy, so we get to haze him a little bit. Zach, when it comes
do what
to
you will.
do what I will, and you'll be on our Tuesday night show promoting your heavenly voice on the Tuesday night show. That's another.
Oh, it ain't that good.
Thing. It is. Stop. It is. It is a damn good voice. He's fucking talented, music wise.
I want to have sex with your voice.
Yeah,
Sean.
We want to have a thing. I'm just glad that. I'm just glad that Sean is gay enough to make it a threesome. So that's all I'll say. Anyways,
I'm not gay. I just run funny.
Enough. You're not. You're just gay enough. All right. So, Zach, if one of the topics I threw out to the guys tonight was how here in the state they passed a bill to allow religion in schools. What is your whole take, or your take with religion, versus,
I didn't read the particular bill, but I guess my first question is, when they say religion, do they mean like religion plural or just Christianity? Is that like code for just only Jesus in school? Fuck everybody else.
That's a good question. Wow.
That is a good question. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Personally, I think religion is for your home. That's for your private time with your family, and I think that's like your thing to instill in your children and do what you will. And that goes across the board for me and everything. It's like I saw somebody not long ago that was he's in my family, so I'm not going to say any names, and I love him. But he's like,
is he a Longoria?
He's not a Longoria. He's married into our family. But he's like,
all right, okay.
The Muslims gonna come over here. They wanna put the Sharia law. And I go, God damn it, we got things in place to make sure that's not ever gonna happen. I was like, don't you understand? We've been fighting that with Christians for the last 20 goddamn years. We're not gonna let anybody try to get their religion into government. That is a no. I don't care if you're any religion across the board. That has no place for you to be teaching that doctrine to my children who maybe I don't want them to, or whatever else. I don't mind if you want to teach a religion course in school. I think that's beneficial for people. I think it'd be beneficial for everyone to learn about every religion from a academic standpoint. If you want to teach a religious class that teaches Christianity and about the Quran, about Buddhism, and about the religions of the world and how they affected history, I think that's a relevant thing to have a discussion about and teach. We would all be better if we knew more about other religions.
Yeah, the chapter on Mormonism is going to be a short one.
It will be. It'll just be like, Jesus comes from the planet and he comes back, and then you wear underwear that are weird, and then we all go to heaven together in a spaceship. I'm kidding. I apologize to anybody.
You like him already, don't you?
Really
Absolutely.
He likes it.
Actually, that's a good point. I mean, that's something I can pretty much get behind. Okay, you know what? You kind of changed my views a little bit. I will go there. Russ failed. Zach won. But
I said the same thing, though. I said the same thing. I said, wait till the Muslims start doing ceremonies in school and having, in Muslim prayer before a basketball game. And then the Christians will be like, all right, screw it. We don't want
I'm not going to be a hypocrite on that. I think everybody has the right to practice religion in America, and I stand behind that. I feel that way. I would be an advocate for any Christian group that wanted to organize and do the religion, any Muslim group, whatever. I believe in that. But I think when it comes to a public education in the world we live in, the world that I fight for, which is one that's diverse, one that's accepting of other cultures and things, if that's going to be the world we live in, then there's no place for religion to be one religion or anything else to be imposed on a child for prayer in a school setting, unless that is a class setting where you teach all religions to kids of all faith or non-faith, just so they understand the history of religion in the world. I think that's beneficial. I think that makes you more knowledgeable. I think that can make you be more tolerant, even if you actually understood the religion that you didn't even align with. That can help you across the board.
I can get behind that.
I would like to petition one thing, though. I would like to petition to change the name of the group, non-faith, to we think that shit's ridiculous. I want non-faith is just too benign for me. I want it to be, we think that shit's ridiculous.
That's why I get behind it, though, Russ, because, Zach's got this beautiful voice, and it doesn't sound so condescending to everything I say. So, piss off.
Hey, I was born that way. Gaga said I was born that way.
You were born that way, that's right. Man, I tell you, you don't have to be a mean person. I've thought a lot about the way I think about certain things, and I have a lot of friends that feel very strong about the way they think. And I think we get somewhere as a people, as one country, when we start to listen and really try to just put ourselves in other people's positions and have sympathy for that. No matter, even if they're Republican or they're liberal or they're poor or they're rich, whatever. Like being able to just try to, I don't know, just try to see something.
No, Zach, you say that, and I follow you. We follow kind of each other on Facebook, and I know where you stand from a political. So you'll post something, and you get the response from the far right, and and let me take it a step further. I want to ask you. Are you talking about those? I know those are your favorites. Yeah, those are your favorites.
Nacho's in my family, so that's different.
Gotcha.
I see him at Thanksgiving.
In seriousness, what about this far right thing?
The alt-right?
Well, the alt-right, far-right, alt-right.
Yeah,
where
we should resist that with every fiber that we have in our bodies. That is not the alt-right. Is not that is not Republican.
What is that guy's conservative? Yeah, what is that guy's name? Yeah, what is that guy's name? Milo.
The guy that gets punched in the face all the time.
Yeah, that's been trying to do these events, and then just all hell has broken out. And so.
I think about that guy, and I'll say this, I know that the whole conservative party is not the alt-right, and I resist anybody in the left that tries to do that, because I think I hate when the right does it to the left, and I absolutely will resist it on the right. There is, without question, a racist alt-right that has hitchbacked themselves to the Trump movement, and it's very unfair to paint them all the same, because they're not, and this is a special group. But I think the right also has to be vigilant and vocal about calling that what it is. I think that's a part of the whole dynamic with how the right ends up with the racist label from people that are lazy Democrats who don't have time to understand the idiosyncrasies of the party. But the right has to do a better job of putting those motherfuckers in a box and saying, no, not one of us. Don't know what that is. That's crazy town. And just separating yourself. That'll allow for a lot better dialogues down the road. The problem is, and I don't know why this is. I mean, I feel like I do know why it is, but I feel like some people don't know why this is. But that section of the Republican Party is more vocal now and louder now than I've ever remembered it in my life, my political lifetime. I'm only 31, but I don't ever remember a vocal racist aspect of the right like getting such play than I've seen them piggyback on the Trump movement. I don't know why that is. I don't know what that's
Russ
about.
does.
I do know that
bullshit media.
Russ,
yeah.
why is
I
that?
mean, what about this Milo guy?
It's the
Where
bullshit
is
media,
what?
but there's also a
Wait a
media
minute,
on the right, like Breitbart, that give them play.
Yeah,
that play that
Breitbart.
up.
Hold on. I've got to check. Russ, do I need to call 911?
No, no,
Okay.
it's like a battle royal in the middle of the speaking thing there. So, but no, what I'm trying to say is, I'd like to see, just on a side note, it'd be interesting to see Milo. He is a homosexual man, and he likes to have promiscuous sex with African American gentlemen. It'd be interesting to see him and maybe
That's
one of
the
his,
alt-right guy? Whoa, hold
Yeah.
on. That's the
He's
the alt-right
alt-right
guy.
guys and the black dudes? Wait.
Oh yeah, Milo
right,
Yiannopoulos is really.
Are you
he's
sure?
Kevin, I actually
You
liked
can
Milo
Occupy
Yiannopoulos.
Democrats.
No, dude. You can 5 seconds on YouTube and you can find.
I'm Googling this shit right now.
Rick
I am
Rubin.
currently Googling.
Yeah, look up his Rick Rubin interview or his Joe Rogan. The Joe Rogan was where he goes.
What's this guy's name again?
Milo Yiannopoulos.
He's that
Milo.
alt-right guy.
That's too far out of the realm of possibility.
Exactly. He's the alt-right guy that, my understanding is the alt-right people, white is right and black is whack. But he's saying he's fucking a black guy.
Oh no,
He's not an
black
alt-right
man
guy. That's the problem.
All right.
That's the
Let me just tell you.
perception everybody's getting.
So we're talking about like the media and like the alt-right, right? So we're all talking about how we've all seen the video of him doing the Heil Hitler thing and about how he's an alt-right person. First thing I googled this. First thing that pops up is Breitbart News, and the headline reads: New York Post smears Milo as alt-right extremist. The end. That's my point. Is that like we've all seen the actual video of him being an absolute racist, and there is a news outlet that appeals to the lowest common denominator in the right that's basically saying there's a smear campaign against the person we all watched do the Hitler salute. That's the issue. I think that's the main issue with me. That's what makes me more frustrated, is that it's impossible to have a real dialogue with people that have different views, because we're operating in different worlds of news and outlets, and you have one side that says anything critical of me is fake news, is bullshit. And don't get me wrong, CNN is fluff. We all agree. CNN is vanilla bullshit. Same thing with Fox News, MSNBC. We get it.
Whoa,
but they're not just making shit. But they are not just making shit.
I will continue to defend my man Anderson Cooper. I'm straight, and I don't care about Anderson. Anderson's the real deal. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I'm not saying Anderson Cooper. I'm saying like CNN. Like I feel the same about CNN and Fox News in the same regard. Like, and if you watch Fox News during the day, especially like during like noon or at night, like they're not gonna tell you shit that's false. It may be skewed to the right, and it may be like leaning and whatever, just enough to make you nauseous. But CNN does the same thing. But there are real journalists that work in those news agencies that have shows that do good work, and they report the facts. And the thing about it is that all those media outlets are reporting the same things. And I've even seen interviews on Fox where they hammer Kelly and Conway about the same shit. But what we have now is that, like, now all of a sudden we're actually starting to get to a point, a section of people are getting to a point where they now think that, like, it's all this giant, like, everyone all of a sudden is against Trump, and we're not coming to the conclusion that, like, well, have you considered that maybe everything Trump's saying is fucking nuts? Has that ran through your mind yet? Because that's also a real thing. And, I think about this all the time. I always think to myself, like, am I being lied to? Is everything I'm hearing right now completely bullshit? And, like, I have that anxiety and that fear. I do. I feel that all the time.
Let's change the whole thing.
Is this bullshit?
Let's change the whole thing.
thing.
No more that alternate news or whatever they're calling it, or alternate facts or nothing. It's contextual news. Simple as that. Everything is taken out of context. Contextual.
It's narrative
and that's
driven.
what they're
It's
doing.
sensationalist. It's sensationalist. It's whatever.
Bullshit. Now, as far as Milo goes,
but sensationalism isn't necessarily made up. You can be sensationalist and still be factual. And that's the difference,
Right.
is that, like, while news may be sensationalist, there are other outlets out there that people are reading as news that are absolute
But
bullshit.
it's taken it to another level that is completely detrimental to its original cause. We can all agree.
Sean,
to
are you putting up the quotes like Dr. Evil when you go level?
I can feel them. I can feel
I know, I felt it.
I hope.
Taking it
I
to
hope
another
you can go, 'cause I'm laying on pretty
level.
thick.
Level.
Yeah,
Right.
I
We
mean,
all
yeah.
know this. As far
I think
as
the
this Milo guy
sensationalism
goes,
is good.
I don't go with this whole freaking bullshit of this, I've watched many videos of Milo. I can't even pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to attempt it. Sorry, Milo, if you're listening. You never know. He might be. Anyway, I've listened to so much of his stuff, and he literally will take it from one extreme to the next. He will defend the left, but then he will also, rebuttal it from a right. And I don't put them into that alternate right, whatever, and everybody is all pissed off. They're just pissed off because, as I've said many times, truth is like poetry, and most people hate poetry, bottom line. And I just dropped
Unless you're singing a song. Oh, no, I bet you Zach doesn't dislike poetry because that's part of his
I love
his
poetry.
repertoire. Yeah.
Hey,
I
Sean,
I'm just saying.
Also,
Sean,
I'm a liberal.
Sorry.
if you can tell them about Milo and the black guy. Tell them, triangulate that to me.
As far as, that's so my thing. I guess what that would be. He said most of his boyfriends are black. He's actually had a where he pretty much, fabulously talked about how he enjoys black penis. He said it's much different than that.
Do you know how badly wrecked Milo's butthole is right now?
Let me just tell you guys something. I have met plenty of racist white girls who also love black men. That means nothing to me. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. That's great. He likes black dudes in the bedroom, but he doesn't want them to have the same opportunities in the workplace or whatever. And he thinks that his race is inferior somehow. The fact I could care less about his sexual orientation in that regard. Like, anybody who feels those things, we live in a diverse country, and when you offer the platform that we have as being a diverse nation that welcomes all immigrants and becoming a melting pot, and that's been our mantra. Races are going to go up and down, and races are going to blend. And yeah, you know what? In America, the traditional aspect of what we think 1950s white person is probably never going to happen again. And you know what? I'm okay with that. And if a group of people aren't okay with that, that's fine. You cannot be okay with that. But trying to move public opinion and trying to draw a narrative nationally to support that is dangerous. And that's not what we're about. So I just really don't care if he's a gay person that likes black dudes. If that's what he goes home at night and lays his head down to thinks is a good thing for America is to think that we should be less racially diverse. I don't give a shit. Like, that's great. But we should continue to be racially diverse. That's what's made us better. That's what makes us a better country. Now we can do that within the context of terrorism, blah blah blah, and have that conversation. But I don't think racial diversity is a downfall for us. I think it's what makes it awesome.
Down with all white men. Down with all white men. That's my new.
Kill them all.
No, I just thought it would be really interesting to have. It would be interesting to have Milo go, do a tour of like Southern Baptist churches in the South, do some speaking.
I'd laugh my ass off. I think it'd be
that
great.
was the whole setup for that earlier was to have him go do that church tour through the South. I think they'd be an interesting welcome.
Nice. Well, Sean, Russ, did you appreciate how Zach, who probably used his Grammy style music reputation to come and hijack our show?
Absolutely.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Now I don't hate it.
It's not every day we have someone like Zach Longoria too. Now he's gonna.
You're like, do you want me to be on? I was like, do you really want me to be on this show?
Yeah, and it was all. I said tonight was gonna be. It wasn't music. Now you owe me to come on Tuesday night to talk only music.
Oh, that'd be. I would love that much more than this conversation. I promise you that.
Well, screw
tonight,
you then. I don't need to.
Tonight is
breaking here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Talk.
It's good stuff. I mean, this is a Zach. Oh shit, he dropped. All right, Russ, Sean, any parting words before we shut this down? It's already on midnight. Sean, I'll start with you.
Anything you do? Say that we do still. we do still have. Well, I'm going to go with a personal thing here. Obviously, the Vertrog is still into full effect. We are into almost into production. The video auditions are still up, so you guys can go to the page DERVERTRAG. That's De Vertrag. Go in there, submit a video audition, find a side that you want. I'll send it to you. And we're still casting right now, but we had a really good turnout at the. Give a quick shout out to the Alley Theater, who will be doing the play Reservoir Dogs coming up very shortly. That's going to be awesome.
Oh wow!
I can't wait to see
Yes.
that.
Cool.
Joey Arena over there. Of course, I want to thank Herschel Zahn, Clint Parks, Jamie Short, Jenna Yesman, and my other team of awesomeness. Production begins in March, guys, and Vernon Wells will be here. That's what we should do. That Sunday night, we should have Vernon call.
You need to get him on the show with us, Sean.
I'll see if I can make that happen. I got a lot of press for him anyway. We're trying to get on Great Day Live and a couple other things, but I'll see if I can make it happen, provided that we're not working too late on Sunday. Oh, who cares? I'll make it, or Monday night. That's Monday, right?
Monday, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll work on. I mean, I can't do prior to 10, but he can come on at 10. So.
Well, he's leaving on Tuesday, the 28th, so he'll still be in town Monday, the 27th, and that's going to be our rep day for him. So we should be done pretty early that day with him. So I'll see if I can arrange it. I can't promise, guys, but I would love for Vernon to come on here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Russ, anything you want to purge out of your system before we shut it down?
No, just got my birthday this coming up weekend, my real birthday this coming up weekend, the 18th. They're going to the Tailspin Ale Festival, the big beer festival that they have at Bowman Field. And then I don't know, after that, maybe some full contact karaoke. Who knows?
Holy crap.
Hey,
we're
going to full contact karaoke Saturday night, Diamond, St. Matthews. I'll be there. Go there,
Screw that.
Russ.
I was talking about the beer fest at Bowman Field.
Oh, you can do that too.
It's going to be we got a VIP, man. We're going to go get some barrel aged out. It's going to be pretty cool.
Oh snap! I got to make some phone calls. Got to make it happen.
Well,
happy birthday, Russ. Have a good birthday, brother. And
all right, appreciate it, buddy.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Good stuff tonight. Good night, Sean.
See y'all later.
Sean, Burton, Russ, you done out of here? All right, we're done. Russ is done. All right. Wrapping up, guys. You can find our show on iTunes and YouTube, Shooting from the Lip, Twitter at The Shooting Lip, my Twitter at KevinHale423. You can also like us on Facebook, Shooting from the Lip. For our first guest, Miranda Popp, for Russ Hinkle, Sean Burton, and our call-in, Zach Longoria, local musician who is absolutely killing it on the local scene, calling in and talking some politics with us. Kevin Hale, we bid you a good night and a pleasant Tuesday, people. Peace out, Louisville.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.